Podcast City Network.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Podcast City Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Deathmatch Russell Podcast. Let's get it on!
Come into the ring, step into the fire, see what you want, baby. If your heart has desire, get up, get knocked down. Deathmatch Russell Podcast, Deathmatch Russell Podcast, Deathmatch Russell Podcast.
And good evening, everyone. You're listening to another episode of the Deathmatch Russell Podcast. And my guest tonight is Adrian Alexander. How are you? Did I get it right?
Hey, it's Adrian Alexander.
Adrian as in, yo, Adrian. Yeah, okay. Sorry about that, but okay.
That's all good. It's all good.
How you doing tonight? Pretty good?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I can't complain. You know, the snow that we've had has just been crazy lately. It's, here at the East Coast, it's like, come on, like, give us a break. Let's have that stuff go away already. And it's gone finally. I think so. It could creep on up at any time. Yeah. What about you?
It's been good. We the winter here hasn't been horrible. We got a couple little snows, but it's
right.
been mildly warm for February, so
yeah, I know. But anyway, let's get right into it, man. Shit. Let's talk about how you got started in wrestling. What made you want to be a wrestler as a kid growing up?
Well, I grew up watching wrestling, and as a lot of us did, I kind of fell out of touch with it for a little while. There comes a point in time where, when you find out that, wrestling's a work, you have this little, mental, of course I was a little kid and, my friends didn't like wrestling. So I was like, oh, I'm not gonna watch wrestling anymore. Well, fast forward down the road, and I was new channels, and I think it was Monday Night Raw. Something was on. I started watching. I was like, man, I really did enjoy. I kind of missed this, and that morphed, and I got back into it and everything, and I watched it religiously for years. And I always wanted, since I was little, I always wanted to be a wrestler, but I always was, I told myself, oh, you're too small. You
Right.
can't be a wrestler, But then, one day actually what happened was my wife and I went to the Royal Rumble in Phoenix. I think it's been 4 years ago. So and I got an amazing opportunity to talk to some of the NXT guys on the way back. We caught a red eye, and a lot of those guys that were in NXT were on that flight, and I got a really good opportunity to sit down and talk with Cash Soto, Chris Hero, and he kind of I probably pestered him all night long.
I'll tell you what, he's knowledgeable. He's one of those guys that knows it a lot, and because he's been there. We've seen what he's done in his career elsewhere as well. Ring of Honor was his launching stone. IWA Mid-South,
Yeah, and IWA Mid-South is just actually right up the road from me. I'll be the building they used to run in. I'll be there this weekend. So I mean, it's so neat how everything kind of ties together. 4 or 5 years ago, you asked me how to be doing this, every weekend, across, the central US, I would have laughed at you, but it has just been such an amazing opportunity from start to finish. I mean, it is just, we've been busy, we've been packed. I was up the Evansville Coliseum. There's been so many great people been in and out of that building. I was able to wrestle in front of like 400 plus people last weekend. So I've been so blessed.
That's good.
It's been awesome.
That's good. Because you want to show your opponents who you are, and you got something to say, and take that W and get that gold belt. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. I mean, I looked back at your resume, and so I look back. I feel like it's a resume. Look back at the Cage Match Wrestling. It's a OVW. You had a lot of good times there wrestling, and still are. Yeah.
They may have. I actually have never been up at OVW.
Oh no shit! Maybe I was wrong. Oh, I read it wrong.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know
who put that. No,
I would love to get up there. I know a lot of the guys that are in and out of OVW. I actually a really good friend of mine that I came up with just got a good shot there, and is probably going to be a pretty regular there. So I'm really excited. And that's somewhere I would love to be in the future. And I'm sure it'll happen sooner than later. But right now it's not in the cards. But I mean, you never know.
You're part of the Grindhouse. I know that.
Yeah. I'm up at Grindhouse,
they're pretty good.
I love the people. They've got a lot of great new up and coming talent. Of course, I think you had Brandon Wolf on your podcast here, a few weeks ago. Yeah, and he's I've been in the ring with him a bunch. Of course, he's up at Grindhouse now, but he's just an amazing competitor, an awesome athlete. And he's doing big things there.
Yeah, but you're doing better things too, as well. So it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm not gonna go here and there, But I do love doing it. It has been just absolutely amazing. The opportunities that, and you never know. Like you get the right call, and next week, I could be on TV somewhere else, So there, it's an awesome ride. The places that I have been in.
Yeah, that's what they all say. You all say that you want to be here, you want to be there. The bucket list of places to be. Japan.
Oh, absolutely.
Top bucket list places. I'm sure that's one of the East Coast wrestle on the East Coast, West Coast. All over the world.
I would love to be on the East Coast. There's so many great wrestling opportunities up, New Jersey, Virginia, all the way up New York, all those places up there. I mean, I know Jersey has just such an awesome. There's so many big, great promotions up there. That's definitely something that within the next year or so, we're spreading out. Right now, we're Indiana, Ohio.
Well, you never know. I could put a word in for you at my local Titan Championship Wrestling, which is
absolutely. I mean,
see, battles are the best because the top champion is Steve Monster Mac, but you could take that title from anybody.
The opportunities have been awesome. I get an opportunity to get a match with Crash Jackson. I don't know if you're familiar with him or not, but I get an opportunity to face him on the 11th down, real close to home. And Crash is another just absolutely awesome talent that, he's been IW Mid-South. He's been Impact, he's been around, he's trained by Sammy Callahan. So, I mean, he knows his stuff. But
I'm just seeing a great match. I was just tweeting somebody earlier. Zodiac actually he has his first match at Impact in March 1st or March. He's going to be debuting. Good for him. That's pretty. He's been one of those guys that's a hidden shell in the for years.
Zodiac's a great guy. I've known him just about as long as I've been in wrestling. He was when I first started training, he was on a lot of those shows that I was on, and he was always just, always willing to give advice and try to be as helpful as possible. He is a really good guy.
So stay tuned. He'll be back on the podcast real soon. Can't wait for that. Get him back, catch up with him. It's always good to catch up with him. But yeah, you just Grindhouse is just bringing some like we've been talking about, and talent wise, and just like everybody's getting seen and heard. It's like I was just listening to Billy Starks on a Sam Roberts podcast this past week. Crazy, like good for her.
Yeah,
little.
Oh yeah, she's doing amazing things, and that's what's wild. It's you see all these people that are around you, and they're just doing awesome things. She is a great talent. She's got all eyes on her right now. So it'll be exciting to see what she does, in the next few years with what she has going on. I mean, shoot, that is, if she doesn't get signed by somebody in the near future, I will be very surprised.
Yeah. All right. Let me ask you this: who would you like to face on the independent scene? There's so many good names out there. There are
a lot of good names. I'm getting one on my bucket list. Like I said, Crash Jackson. He was one of the guys that I really wanted to work with. There's of course, now I'm drawing a blank. Damian Chambers. He's a guy that is up and coming. I know he'll be on Swerve's House here pretty shortly. That big show that's going on up there. He is just fast rising, such a great talent. I worked with him a little bit. He was at Grindhouse a little bit, but I never actually got to get in the ring with him. And I would love to step in the ring with him. Lord Crew's another one that
he can throw down. He can throw down behind. He can throw it down. He's not scared.
Oh yeah, but I would love to. I've kind of rubbed shoulders with him, but never got in the ring with him, and that's another one that I would absolutely love to get in and go. I'm so excited. Grindhouse, we just have we're working just an awesome stable up there. We've got Ben Sheeran is managing us, and we got Oliver Gunner, and we're tearing stuff up right now, and it is just I'm having a blast being able to get in with those guys and tear it up with some of the younger guys there at Grindhouse and people like Cash Jackson and stuff like that. I mean, it's been fun, and there's I could make a list a mile long of who I want to step in the ring with, but I love just getting out and traveling and being able to get in the ring with all kinds of people. People you haven't heard of a lot. These up and coming guys that they're great. They're great in the ring, but maybe they haven't had the right exposure yet. And being able to get in the ring with them and work, and it's just it's all part of the journey,
Yeah. Oh, actually, Benjamin's right here. Shout out to Benjamin. How are you? There you go. He's been watching us.
Oh, dude, he's a good guy.
Yeah, and then who is this? Maddie. Hello, Maddie. I don't know you. Hi, Maddie. Question. This is our fan, one of the fans. He's a great dude. What do we got here? What's your favorite story so far in your career?
I don't know.
I know there's so many.
There's a lot. We've had some great ones. We ran probably almost a 2-year story through COVID. Obviously, shut a lot of that down, and we kept the story going on for actually it'd be almost going on 3 years now. I had a group that I started when I first started training. I was managing, and then slowly worked into the wrestling role. Ended up tagging for a while, but we had a group, the Dominion, and we ran. And there was 3 of us, and then it went down to 2, and then back. We shuffled a few people around, but Tony Corral and I were tagging together for the greater part of a year, and the slow turn on him that we finally did, was just, it was so much fun to work with. It was, the crowd just ate it up. And now we're still in this whole, very slow burn story where now me and him are finally at each other. It's been 3 years in the making where we started together, and now we're here together, but we're at each other's throats, and it's
good.
awesome.
That's a good. Yeah, you want to catch the attention of the crowd. Your audience.
And the fact that it has caught everybody's attention for 3 years is just awesome.
Yeah. Now, growing up watching wrestling, who caught your eye? Who was your guys to like look back on? Like Ric Flair.
The very first person.
Yeah.
Very first person I ever saw wrestle was The Undertaker. I was, just flipping through channels, and the very first, it was like the lights went out, and then The Undertaker was in the ring, So I've always loved The Undertaker, but I feel like a lot growing up, Shawn Michaels, then, especially the early CM Punk days. I loved CM Punk, and I still, his work is phenomenal. But those were probably two of my favorite guys, especially Shawn Michaels. I think a lot. I try to do a lot of Shawn's mannerisms, especially the way, he carries himself in the ring and everything. He's just an absolutely phenomenal person. But there are so many people.
I can see Punk. I can see the Punk in you. Yeah, I can see that Punk coming out of you. Yeah, that's good though.
I did. I love Punk. I like the guys that are able to get on the microphone and just be so incredibly natural.
That's like Kingston. That's like Eddie Kingston.
And
Eddie Kingston as well. That's like Eddie Kingston.
Prime example.
Yeah.
Such these people, MJF on the microphone is just, love him or hate him. He is just an absolute natural on the microphone. And it's people like that it's awesome. I try to watch as much as I can. I'm a lot busier than I was, but I still try to keep up with everything. And, I love seeing these people that can, I like wrestling, don't get me wrong, but I love the story of what's going on. You've got to be able to tell the story, whether it's in the ring or whether it's on the microphone. That's the best part about it. It's like
a tag team, like the Briscoes, like they tell a story with FTF or whatever, that how they really wanted to get that match with those guys on, Tony Khan, try to get them his attention, to get,
And that goes anywhere, that goes, from social media all the way to the ring. And that's something that I love to do, especially, I'll get on Facebook or Twitter or what, I don't do Twitter that much, but, Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that. And, I try to keep the story going, because we can add so many more layers to the story that we can't do on TV. We can't do in front of the fans, and we just keep building and adding on to it. And it creates such an amazing environment. And you've made the whole match for yourself. If these people are invested in what you're doing when you go into it, you've won half the battle there. Now you get to go out and have fun, beat the hell out of each other.
Yeah. And you're doing it on a national level, you're doing it worldwide. It's like you're traveling here, you're traveling there. Oh, did you ever think of that, that WWE when it first came out? Like, my gosh, this is a roller coaster. Here's what do I want to leave my life and just wrestle, full 24, it's a living, man. It's like going to the army, like you signed up for something. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But, so currently, what do you, let me ask you this, worst injury in your career? Have anything that scared you?
I've been very, very fortunate. I never went to the This was I hadn't been wrestling but about probably 6-8 months. But I took a pretty hard choke slam, and I caught my arm on the way down. And I never went and got it checked out, which is probably something I should have done. But there was definitely, I definitely tore something in my back. And that was probably the worst, because it was just trying to train and have matches after that. Just every time you hit the mat, it would just take the breath out of you. I've we've done a little bit here and there, but all in all, it's been a smooth ride. Of course, everybody eventually has one, but fingers crossed. I've stayed healthy. It's been good.
Yeah, I know. We see a lot of our friends, and it's man, they're just getting back on their feet again. Like Mance Warner, look at that old Mance Warner getting back on his feet. Chris Dickinson get like all these other guys are just Danhausen, of course. Like come on, these
Yeah.
old guys
It's wrestling. Anything can happen, but you try to stay as safe as possible and just roll with the punches and see what happens. Because especially being professional wrestlers on this level, like you get injured, you're out and you're done for a while. You just kind of have to sit in the shelf and watch stuff go by and try to stay in as much shape as you can. I know I ended up getting COVID about a month ago, and it was just so tough because you've got to try to you don't feel like doing anything, but you've got to try to stay as active as possible, because as soon as I was out of quarantine, I was back on shows again, and that first match was rough because I was just out of shape, out of breath. And but that's especially in today's day and age where COVID's going around. That's something everybody's kind of these wrestlers are all dealing with, having to figure out how to come back from something like that. And that's I'm talking injuries suck, but this is something that everybody is trying to experience right now and try to deal with, and they
can't cheat it. Don't be because there's a lot of people that do that. They try to say, "Oh, I'm fine," but no, you.
Yeah,
I had a friend who just died last week. Rest in peace, my good friend had COVID, man, but he had asthma, so he had asthma, so that was natural. But yeah, it's scary, man. It's scary, but you know what? You get through it, and look where you are now. You're doing your thing. You're doing it.
Yeah. Love it every minute of it. We're going. Ohio, Tennessee, Indiana. Kentucky. It's we've West Virginia. We've been all over the place, and it's the more places I can get out, the better, because I just love everywhere you go is a little bit different. The crowds are a little bit different. Venues are different. Everything is just. It's amazing, and then that's at the end of the day, that's why we do it. Whether it's just getting a little kid to just want to take a picture with you, or any that's the reason we do this.
That's why I always tell people it's about the kids, the generation that we grew up. That's why we wanted 8x10s with the wrestlers and the photos, and all the crazy merch we had as a kid, and we still have it. Probably still have it in our closets. And
yeah, but that's that's the main. I love the stories and I love everything, but if if what I do is making a kid in the crowd smile or yell at me, I get a lot of that. I'm always the bad guy, but that I help tell the story,
Yeah, and you do it for a disabled kid to make their day, for a fundraiser, which is always a plus. It's what we love. I love being a part of something when there's a show and it's just I'm cheering them on and helping them out. Hey, this kid's gonna have a nice day. They're gonna have a great day. Enjoy wrestling, just a day out with their family. Because they can't afford it or something. But let me ask you this: what's your cheat meal after a show? Ooh.
I am really bad at shows. It is 9 times out of 10 if I can find a cookout, I am hitting up a cookout, which I don't know how. I know it's a real Southern thing. I don't know how far north that goes, but and it's just greasy fast food that's open until 4 o'clock in the morning.
That sounds good. Yeah, I know. Well, that's like Jersey. What we have diners that are open 24/7 almost, right? Or like anywhere. You just find these like holes in the walls, But let me ask you this: you watching any what's your current movie you're watching, or are you watching any movies? Catching anything?
Current movie, or what what I live for. I just finished up Peacemaker on HBO. That was really good. And then let's see here. I don't know.
I just watched. I just watched that Chainsaw Massacre. Wasn't the best, but it was okay. Yeah,
it was okay. Yeah, I've heard some mixed.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Oh, there's the lag catch up. Hold on. There we go. Yeah. No, the lag. There's lag.
Oh, okay.
It's
okay,
lagging.
Yeah. But yeah, it's when I can, I turn the TV on, and 9 times out of 10, it's probably wrestling. But it's been a crazy little ride when I am home.
Are you big on the? You a big IWTV fan? Ooh.
You know, honestly, I haven't been as much as I probably should. Yeah. I watch the show every now and then when I can, and I do love, especially if it's somebody that I know I'm gonna have a match against here pretty soon, and I can catch their match or whatever, because I love to see what they're doing if I'm not familiar with them, kind of see what they've got in the ring. But honestly, I'm real mainstream with my wrestling. That's
good. Just catch whatever you can. Catch whatever you can, YouTube or whatever. Just
it's always it's even if it's just listening to somebody talk about a show, the recaps and stuff like that. I love to kind of see what's going on. I don't get Impact, but I love to keep up with what they've got going on, because there's a lot of great guys there. And ROH, obviously, they've kind of folded for the time being until they come back up. There's so many great guys there that were in that area, and it's just it's been I keep saying it, but it's been such an awesome ride. You asked little 9-10-year-old me if I would ever be a wrestler, and I probably would have said no, but I would definitely have not thought that I'm 3 years in the wrestling business, and I'm able to go travel all over every weekend, and that to me is just awesome. That is what makes me so happy about what I'm doing. Is I can go to Indiana next weekend. I'll be in Frankfort, Kentucky this weekend, and then I'll be in Jeffersonville, Indiana at Grindhouse. I mean, I'm able to go so far and do so much.
Then WrestleMania weekend is coming up, and my gosh, Dallas, Texas has a whole bunch of with the collective and stuff. There's so much going on.
There's so much going on, and I am working on some stuff down there right now, trying to secure some bookings down there. So I would all this. It's crazy. It's gonna be awesome. We'll see what happens. We, hopefully, we'll be on OVW here soon. Hopefully, yeah.
Sorry about that.
Oh, that's good. No, but I mean that is. Yeah. I actually had a conversation with somebody the other day about getting in contact with somebody up there and everything. So it's kind of funny you brought that up, because that may be in the works very, very soon.
You know who I'm thinking of? You know who I'm probably thinking of? Amazing Maria's daughter is actually on Dark Elevation tonight.
Yes, Haley
versus Ruby. Ruby.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, and she's been doing awesome stuff at OVW. She actually about beat me up one night. That was actually at Grindhouse, my very first night at Grindhouse. And I had a match with No Good Jacob Ratliff. And at the end, I made him pass out. And at the end, I walked back over to him and I spit on him.
Have you ever wrestled?
Cole? He was over on his back. I just spit on his back.
Have you ever wrestled Cole Radrick? Cole Radrick? Have you ever wrestled Cole
Radrick? No, I don't believe I have.
Yeah. Or John Wayne Murdoch or Reed or Sage?
No,
no.
I know those guys, but no, I never have been in the ring.
No, Cole just stepped it up this weekend. Shout out to him. He just stepped it up to turned his game on to deathmatch and had his first win over or invite. So shout out to him. You know, he stepped it
Good
up in the
deal,
ring.
good
Yeah,
deal.
it's versatile, man. These guys can do it. AJ Gray, whew, there's another tough son of a bitch. I bet you would love to get in the ring with. See, look at that. It's play. You know,
Absolutely.
he's a hard hitter. As his partner Matthew Justice too.
I love
You know, I'm sure you know. Yeah, Matthew Justice.
yeah.
Crazy people.
Hi, there's so many people right now that
Mm-hmm.
you know, any of these guys, it'd be an absolute honor and an amazing opportunity to step in with any of these people because there's so many people doing great things right now. You know, I trained, like I said earlier, I trained with Carson Drake, and he's getting out and getting places, and just an absolute top tier talent. Of course, he was on OVW last weekend, and then people like Savion. Savion has been he's been all over the country, you know, wrestling. He's been down in Texas. He's wrestling up here in Cincinnati. All these guys that you know I've been like, you know, there with, I've been in matches with, I've done, and to see them go places and do things is just, it's awesome. It's
But that's what you want for yourself as well, to be everywhere.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But you know, everybody has a different path. You know, you're all not. You know, everybody is worried about them seeing everybody around them spring up, and that's not. You know, that's not there yet for me, and that's fine.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm a firm believer that when the time's right, it's gonna happen. And in the meantime, I gotta work my ass off and show everybody why I deserve to be, you know, where these other guys are. So I don't sweat it too bad, you know.
That's it. I think we covered it, man. What do you think? Let's call it a night. I think we're good to go.
It sounds good.
Feel free to plug whatever
you so much.
Feel free to plug whatever you want. I got a lot of actually, I'm gonna have Ron. I'm gonna be hanging out with Ronnie, the Reverend, tomorrow night again.
Oh, that's good. Good guy. Good guy. Yeah, he
yeah,
I know him real well.
Yeah,
but you know, if you want to keep up with what I'm doing, social media is definitely the play. You know, Facebook. I post everything on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm trying to get on the Twitter game. So, you know, it's gonna be an awesome ride, and I just encourage everybody to stay tuned and see what happens, because it's only going to go up from here, and this next year is just going to be full of awesome stuff.
Adrian, I want to say thank you so much for coming on, and I will definitely get something down the line again. How's that? We'll do some more.
Absolutely. You have a good night.
You too, man. Thank you. Oop, I'll close you out. There you go. All right, I want to say, fans, thank you to my guest, Adrian, for being on the podcast tonight. Adrian Alexander, and you know, go see him at the show. Go see him at Grindhouse. Go see him at this coming week. He's going to be at IWA Mid South. Go watch what he's got going on, being part of a tag team, as well, his tag team and friends, and just loves wrestling. Support what he does. Wrestle. Get out there. Do what you can to survive. Wow. Well, that was great. I want to say thank you for being on the podcast, and tomorrow night at 8 p.m. right back here on the Deathmatch Russell podcast. Everett Lee takes over the Deathmatch Russell podcast with his guest, and I'm a guest as well. Reverend Ronnie Roberts will be on the podcast, and looking forward to that. And fans, I want to say tune in this Thursday night at 8 p.m. I'm bringing on a female pro wrestler. Angel Orsini is going to be on the podcast. I'm looking forward to talking to her about her upcoming match March 12th at at Funhouse Wrestling, Titan Championship Wrestling versus Debbie Kane. for the Funhouse Women's Championship. Time to Party, as they present Time to Party in Bayville, New Jersey, at the Elks lot. At the Elks. Fans, thank you for listening. Have a good night, everyone. Till next time, we talk wrestling, as always.
You can find more Deathmatch Wrestle podcast on the following. Just hit the like button and share. You can hear the audio portion of Deathmatch Wrestle podcast on Stitcher Radio. You can find more Deathmatch Wrestle podcast on the following. Just hit the like button and share. You can hear the audio portion of Deathmatch Wrestle podcast on Stitcher Radio and on iTunes. Social media, Deathmatch Wrestle podcast on Facebook, Twitter at DavidNJ32, Instagram, DavidNJ36, YouTube, David C. Russell, and DeathmatchWrestlePodcast.com. Podcast City Network, your top source for independent podcasting. Be creative, be yourself. PodcastCity.net. Facebook, Podcast City Network. Twitter at Podcast City Net. Deathmatch Wrestle Podcast merchandise available. PodcastCity.net/shop. Joners Wrestling Podcast Network. Head over to WrestlingWithJoners.com. Follow them on Facebook. Joners Wrestling Podcast Network. Twitter at @WithJoners_pod. I want to mention Collar and Elbow. Collarandelbowbrand.com. Use the promo code Deathmatch Wrestle Podcast and save 10% off when you make a purchase. Deathmatch Wrestle Podcast.